Hi, I'm Annie, and I'm on the staff at NAMI Delaware. Today, we have planned a conversation called Healthy Food to Support a Healthy Mind. Before we invite our two guests from the Food Bank of Delaware, I do want to share a couple of things first. First of all, NAMI Delaware stands in solidarity with all who seek a fully inclusive community. Many people in our community are dealing with extreme stress, fear, hopelessness, and trauma. We care about you and we support you. We're committed to being a fully inclusive organization and doing all we can to help end racism. Black Lives Matter. NAMI Delaware's mission is to support, educate, and advocate until there is a cure for serious and persistent mental illness. We work to bring programs, support groups, advocacy, awareness, and housing to those who need it. We work with individuals who live with serious and persistent mental illness, as well as family members, and we work with community members who want to learn more so they can advocate and help others. NAMI is part of a large network of the national organization called NAMI. NAMI, it stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness, and there is a NAMI in every state. NAMI as a national organization has been around for 40 years, and it's the largest grassroots mental health organization in the country. If you're tuning in from Delaware, you can learn more about what we do at NAMI Delaware by going to our website, namidelaware.org. If you're tuning in from another state, you can go to nami.org and learn more about your NAMI. We have a couple of things coming up we want to make sure you know about. We have a support group meeting for peers, individuals who identify as living with a mental illness, and that is actually tonight. That's Thursday, June 4th. If you are interested, we'd like you to register so that it is a private conversation on an online platform. We also have a family support group meeting coming up, actually two. One of them is next Thursday, and then the following Monday, we'll have another. And you can learn more about those on our website as well. We have a program called NAMI Homefront, which is a program for families of veterans. You're welcome to learn more about that and register at our website as well. And lastly, our Facebook Live next week will focus on crisis response here in the state of Delaware. We have representatives from both the youth crisis services in Delaware and the adult crisis services on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So we hope that you join us then. So now one more thing, before we invite our guests in, I do want to always remind you that what we talk about today is to help support you, to help you not feel alone. But when we have these conversations, sometimes it generates strong feelings, and we want to make sure that you feel supported. So we want you to have immediate access to crisis intervention services if you need them. One easy way is to text 741-741, the crisis text line. It's not the only immediate crisis access, but it's one that's rather quick and it's easy to remember. You can also find more resources on our website about other ways to get connected. However, NAMI Delaware is not a crisis response organization. So I'd like to welcome our guests from Food Bank of Delaware so we can talk about healthy food to support a healthy mind. Hi.
Hi.
So today we have Communications Director Kim Turner and Executive Chef Tim Hunter from the Food Bank of Delaware. I can't wait to talk about this. Kim, you and I were connected briefly with a project we did a couple of weeks ago, but beyond that, I am just eager to hear more because I know that you're doing lots and lots of great things. Can we learn a little bit just about what each of you does in your respective roles?
Sure. My name is Kim Turner. I'm the communications director at the Food Bank of Delaware. I work with all of our staff to communicate our message to the public, to share how if people who are in need of food assistance, how they can seek help. For people who want to get involved in the community, we really are the storytellers of our organization. So that is what I do in a nutshell.
Oh, great. The storytellers. I love it. Okay. And how about you, Tim?
So I'm Tim Hunter. I'm an executive chef here. Basically, my role is I oversee the Culinary School. It's a 14-week program that we bring people in from all walks of life and teach them the basics of cooking. So we kind of oversee that. We do catering. We oversee special events. So any of those things, with food involved, I'm usually involved in.
That's fantastic. I love that. I want to hear more about the Culinary School. Hopefully we can work that into our conversation.
Sure.
So can we start with just some history about the Food Bank of Delaware in general?
Sure. Yeah, so we've been in existence since the early 80s. Our vision has always been a community free of hunger. We are working hard to essentially put the food bank out of business. And to go back to how you started this whole conversation, the food bank is very passionate about equality for all. We know that in order to put ourselves out of business, we have to address the root causes of poverty, and that includes systemic racism and oppression. So the food bank, we stand in solidarity. This is what we do every day at the Food Bank of Delaware. So I'm proud of the work that we do in our community. I'm proud to work alongside with my coworkers. Tim and I, we work very closely together. But like Tim said, with our Culinary School, we are working with students who are looking for a second chance in life. And that's really what we're all about at the Food Bank, is giving a helping hand when people are sometimes at their lowest points in life.
Sure. That's fantastic. I guess I didn't realize the piece of, I knew about the food donations, like the food drives and things, but I guess I wasn't connected totally to the Culinary School and the giving people a second chance. And we believe in that too, of course. It's a perfect partnership with NAMI Delaware. We're glad to have you. So can we talk a little bit about the numbers of people that you're serving? I think that should be a place to start.
So, like you said, you weren't familiar with the culinary side of the food bank. So when you think of a food bank, you often think of that food distribution part, the emergency food services. And that is what we have been focused on with COVID-19. The number of people that we're seeing, the number of food that we're distributing has doubled since the crisis started here in Delaware. People essentially went from having a job to not having a job overnight. So we have been here to provide that emergency food assistance to people. So, oftentimes you might not know where your next meal is coming from, and you do find some relief to know that there are resources in the community. So that's the main mission of the food bank. And then, like I said, the vision is a community free of hunger. And one of the ways that we know we can get people from not needing our assistance is to provide them with skills so that they can obtain employment. That's where it's called Delaware Food Works, and it's our culinary school. And we also have a training program in logistics and warehousing. So that's the other component of the work that we do at the food bank. Tim has talked about the meals that he and his team are working on for homeless people in Kent and Sussex County. So with COVID-19, the shift has shifted back to that emergency food distribution, but the workforce development piece is critical to what we do at the organization.
Sure. And pre-COVID, can you give us an idea of the numbers that you're serving then versus now?
Sure. So last year we distributed about 8.5 million pounds of food to Delawareans. We say that our COVID relief here in Delaware started on March 16th. So since March 16th, we have already distributed over 4 million pounds of food to our community. So by the time we go through a fiscal year, which is July 1 to June 30th, by the time the year ends, we will double our distribution compared to last year.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And what supports have you had in the community to help you do that? I would assume that it's just a bigger outreach for donations. Would that be true?
It's been amazing, the outpouring of support from the community, monetary donations, people who want to donate food, volunteers are still coming through our doors. One of my new tasks as part of the crisis to help out our development team is to open all the mail. So I've been seeing the checks that have been coming. People have been donating their entire stimulus checks to the food bank saying, I don't need the money, I'm employed. Please make sure it gets to families who are in need. So people have just been incredibly generous, and it's been wonderful to see.
That is so inspiring. And we need to hear more stories about that. You know, we need to hear that and remind ourselves that there are people out there who want to help. That's a great way to do it. If you can't come out and help and you can't be physically there, you can certainly donate, funds to help support the work you're doing.
Exactly. And I always say, like, with just $1, the food bank can provide 3 meals to people in need. Wow. So a little bit really does go a long way.
So wait, I think that's worth saying again. Say it again.
$1 provides 3 meals. So Tim, our power at the grocery store is nowhere near the buying power of the food bank.
Wow. Just $1 could provide 3 meals. That's a powerful statement, and we need to make sure people know that. That's really important, because any small amount of donations could make a huge impact. So let's kind of veer our conversation now toward that topic that we had originally proposed, which is the healthy food to support a healthy mind conversation. Now that we kind of have a little background, we realized that there's a correlation between physical health and mental health. And of course, with NAMI Delaware's work, we're constantly talking about wellness and mental health care and self-care. But we need to remember that part of that is taking care of our bodies, right? And our physical health. So Tim, how can you help us in understanding that? How does a healthy diet actually help?
Well, I mean, I'll use my students, for example. When my students come to class, some of them come in and they're hungry. But as class go on, we feed them. Well, we give them lunch every day, but those ones that we have kind of picked out that know they're hungry, make sure they get breakfast and they get food in them before we start class. And it's a big difference between when they first started to when they coming in, knowing that that's not a worry that they have to worry about. So we make sure we do healthy meals every day. Everybody knows at the food bank, because I meal prep all my meals. So I'm always walking around with a cooler and a jug of water, and it's nothing new to everybody I work with now. But I am, that's me. And it's not like I don't call it a diet. I consider it a healthy lifestyle that I like to live. And I think once people understand that, even how you feel, about yourself, how you feel, as a person, it makes a big difference.
So tell me, I know I'm familiar with food prep, but I know that's not a general term that everyone knows. So tell me what you mean when you say that.
So basically, I prep all my meals on Sunday. So I'm prepping from Sunday, and it usually lasts me till Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm prepping I'm a little different. I eat 6 times a day. But
I should add that Tim is a world-class bodybuilder.
Oh, wow.
And a personal trainer. So we have the food and the fitness.
Oh my gosh. Well, then we picked the right person to talk to. So 6 times a day, and you're prepping. I would suspect you're not prepping things that are in packages, right? You're prepping fresh.
It's fresh food. And, and now it's so much easier because we have a place like the Produce Junction where you can get all your fresh produce, and it's pretty cheap. And you can get bags of produce for $20. You come out there with bags of produce, and it's all fresh. And yes, you got to prep it and eat it within like 4 or 5 days. But how you feel with just doing that, it's so much better. Now I like cooking on the grill, so I'll grill all my chicken off or whatever I have, and I like to use a lot of fresh herbs. So everything that I do is pretty healthy, and it still tastes good.
Now you're making me really hungry. So just getting into the food prepping thing, I think I've heard certainly with people that we've worked with or colleagues or anyone. First of all, you addressed already that it's pretty cheap, right? So
Yes.
dispel the myth that healthy food is expensive,
Yeah,
right?
and I don't think so. I mean, I think because people like the easy way. So it's convenient.
Convenience.
It's convenient that you can go and get 2 burgers for $2. But if you prep it yourself, then you don't get to that point where you're hungry, so you're not rushing. And then the key is always never let yourself get hungry.
Right.
So,
which is why you're eating 6 times a day, I guess.
Yeah. For me, it's a little different, but
okay.
The average person, if they're eating 4 or 5 times a day, but if it's already ready, then all you have to do is kind of go and heat it up.
Right.
But if you're hungry and if nothing's ready, you're going to go grab the first thing you can find, and usually that's not a healthy option.
Exactly. I can relate to that totally. If I don't have my meals planned ahead of time, it's so much easier to do the drive-through, or it's so much easier to grab something that's not so healthy, that's in a package. So I think that's important. So first of all, you've dispelled the myth of healthy food being expensive, but also when you plan ahead, it doesn't have to be time consuming too.
Exactly.
Now, I would guess that you've been through a lot of training to be an executive chef.
Yes.
But someone like me, who's very much not trained, how could we learn more about preparing healthy food?
Well, there's so many options now today. I mean, there's so many videos. I mean, and believe me, even now with COVID, every chef has posted something online. You can look up and say,
just Google
how do
it
you
or
grill
something?
chicken? It's there.
Okay.
How do you grill asparagus? It's there. Like you can find anything now. How to roast vegetables compared to steaming them. You can look it up and find it, because now like some of these chefs are out of work, so they're trying to post videos, and that's what they're doing. So it's they've made it a little easier for people who really want to do it.
That's a great point. Yeah, I guess YouTube or whatever, searching for that kind of information is available. That's a good point that people who might not be working right now in the restaurant industry might be sharing their tips. We'll have to check that out. So do you have any other thoughts on strategies people could consider when they're, like, I don't know if you've seen any commentary around people putting on weight around now. Like they're snacking, they're stress eating, they're doing all the things that are really not super helpful. So what could we be doing because to get back to what NAMI Delaware believes in, we want to take care of our whole selves, and taking care of our physical body will help impact and improve our mental health. So what could we be doing?
Well, I think, it's been a big deal because all the gyms have been closed. So a lot of guys, if you didn't have equipment in your house, a lot of guys have been struggling. But, you can still go outside and walk, and if, you can walk for 20 minutes, as long as you keep it and try to keep on a regular schedule, and if you can keep yourself on a schedule and say, I'm going to walk every morning, I'm going to try to eat as clean as I can throughout the day, I think that'll help you physically and mentally.
So eat clean. Can you define that?
So eating clean, so there's no fried foods, try to stay away from processed foods, those type of things. Drink plenty of water. People usually don't drink enough water. So, the sugary drinks you want to stay away from. And that's what we consider as eating clean. And it may not be the extreme that I do, but, you can still have a yogurt compared to something else. So, you try to eat, I consider it eating clean, but maybe not to the extreme. I know I'm probably extreme, but everybody don't have to.
Kim pipes in, he's extreme. All right. For those of us who don't want to be extreme, there are things that we can just change very gradually, right? We can just pick one thing. Like maybe what you just said about the water. Like I know I used to drink a ton of diet soda, and while it doesn't have sugar, it's super not healthy. Right. So I was trying to kind of really get away from that. But I think a lot of us I can't speak for everyone, but people I know had some healthy habits they'd kind of started really being engaged with at the beginning of 2020. And this COVID pandemic happened. And then they
Sure.
sort of, like you said, the gyms closed and the stress increased. People lost their jobs and were worried about the cost of food. They weren't going to the grocery store because they didn't want to get out. So they were ordering out. I mean, all these different elements were playing toward unhealthy lifestyle, right?
Right.
So hopefully we can start, getting back to those better choices. Now, what if someone is tuning in right now and wondering what a good first step might be to eating healthier? What would be the one takeaway you would say?
I would say for 90% of the people that I start with, I tell them to eat a healthy breakfast because you'll be surprised how many people do not eat breakfast. So you kind of that just starts your day off totally wrong. So
Right.
even if you can get a piece of fruit, have a yogurt and have breakfast in the morning, because I have found that that's most people's biggest mistake is they never eat breakfast in the morning.
Right. That's a really good point. They'll start off not eating, and then by the time they get to getting food, they're so hungry,
Yes.
they don't have the patience to prepare something healthy. Been
Right.
there, I get it. Yeah, definitely. Well, this has been really good. I know that you have the culinary school. You mentioned that you feed your students. Tell me a little bit about that. Is that just part of the program that you
That's
give them
part of
lunch?
the program. So each week we have one of the students are what we consider the sous chef. So that person's in charge of kind of the cleanup for the kitchen, and he's also in charge of lunch for that week. So one of the things to teach them is how to plan ahead. So if you need things pulled out of the freezer that needs to thaw, then you need to plan ahead. So it kind of it gives them that role, but we also try to give healthy options. So we always want, a decent starch, a green vegetable, and a protein. So that's one of the things that we kind of teach them, and that kind of teaches them how to kind of eat healthy too.
That's great. Now, how does one get involved in a class like that?
All
Is
right, so
that something we can find online, or?
yeah, you can go to our website under FBDI or to go underneath the Culinary School, and there's a current class that's just going to be starting soon. It's going to be virtual at first, but
Okay.
hopefully soon in the near future we can get them back into the kitchen.
So you're taking the course virtual. Is that going to be tricky?
Yeah, it's going to be challenging for us. It's the first time, so we're gonna learn and see how it goes. I mean, me and Kim have done tons of videos, so I'm kind of
Okay.
used to being on camera. That doesn't bother me. So it's just
Right.
a matter of getting the students engaged and getting them to be able to see what we can do.
That's great. That's great. I think we can all agree that this switch to virtual has been a learning curve for a lot of us, but it's great to hear that the culinary school is going to continue and that you're going to offer it soon virtually, and hopefully it will go back to in person.
Yeah.
We'll definitely, hopefully people will check that out. So other ways to volunteer with the food bank. We kind of talked about food distribution and donating funds. Is there anything else, Kim, that people could be doing to get connected to your organization?
Sure. So we are always in need of volunteers. We say that volunteers are the heart and soul of our organization. When we add up all the volunteer hours and visits, it's like the equivalent of almost 20 full-time staff members. So we couldn't do what we do without volunteers. So during this COVID-19 crisis, we did have a lot of groups who canceled, but we're practicing social distancing in our volunteer room. We're spreading groups throughout the warehouse so we can get the work done. But anybody as young as 7 all the way up to however old, everybody can make a difference in the community. So if people have free time and want to come out and assist us, they can sign up online, which is the website's right there on the screen. You just sign up online and then you come on in and we'll get you to work. We do ask that everybody wears a face mask and take your temperature before you come in. If you're sick, we ask that you stay home. But we've been really thankful that people are continuing to come out and volunteer during this time.
That's wonderful. And do people sign up for like a time frame, like a time schedule or something? Is that how it works?
Yep. So we have shifts throughout the week, daytime, and then Tuesday and Thursday, and then some other select evenings. We have an evening shift. We have a Saturday shift. So all of those hours are on that website, and whatever time you're able to commit, you can just sign up on the website and then come in at that time.
Great, great. So is there anything else we should be covering? And we've had some really lovely comments from some viewers. Debbie's just saying, thank you for the resources. And Dave is saying, thank you, Food Bank of Delaware, for all you do for our state. If there's anything more we need to cover or want to mention, please.
So I do want to mention, if people who are in need of assistance, there's Delaware 211. We encourage people to dial 211. That will connect them to the Delaware helpline, and a representative can direct them to a pantry throughout the state. There's hundreds of food pantries up and down the state. We have food pantries out of our Newark and Milford warehouses that are open for people who are in need of assistance. We know that Newark and Milford might not be convenient for everybody in the state. So please use the resources of 211. They can let you know of an organization in the state that can provide assistance.
Great, great. Well, listen, I am so grateful for having some time to talk with both of you. I've learned a lot, and I really appreciate your time. I just want to remind all those who are viewing to tune in next week for conversations around crisis and any other ideas that people might want to hear about on Facebook Live. We want to hear from you. We're trying to make connections with great organizations like the Food Bank of Delaware, so that we can bring community information straight to you. So I want to thank Kim and Tim, and wish everyone well and have a beautiful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.